Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another B.D.E podcast. My name is Stephen Hawley, and I'm here in the studio with my main man, Shelton. He is all about that bass, no treble, Walker. Let's go. My goodness, I am stoked.
What is up, baby?
Let's go.
Welcome back to the B.D.E podcast. Holly, thank you as always for those great intros. It always gets me hyped up.
It's why I come here. The intros themselves, I think about it during the week.
I think it's the only reason people watch, to be honest. I think they just watch this and they get off. But it is what it is. We're excited to be here. We have a jam-packed show. A lot went down this past week. Okay? It's 4th of July weekend. Look at it. We're festive. We're feeling pretty incredible about it.
You definitely more than I, and I feel bad about that. I was
trying to be subtle.
I didn't, yeah. Subtlety has always been your finest art.
Did I do a good job?
Yeah, oh yeah, you nailed it.
Cool.
Yeah, but America. No, I would never say anything else.
Home team.
I don't know when people are watching this show, but happy 4th of July.
Yes, absolutely. It's the greatest day of the year. There's no argument about it.
Happy signing of the most important document in the history of the world.
Absolutely.
But I'm so glad to have everybody back.
We're excited to be here. Listen, man, like I said, jam-packed. A lot went down, and this is the last time that I've seen you. And we were excited about this. We kind of cut the B.D.E moments because we got a lot of hot topics to go over.
Too many.
But we do have a follow-up from last week.
We do.
All right, so last week we talked about it. I was up 1-0 from the Stanley Cup argument. You gave me that.
Yep.
Last week's argument was who's going to be the next mascot for the Olympics.
For the Olympics, yeah.
Right? Who's taking Michael Phelps' throne, right? I told you I was going to take it from you, but I left it up in the air because it was close. We had to see how the Olympics were going to play out. You picked
Sha'Carri Richardson.
I picked Caleb Dressel. Come on, I need you to lock it in.
Whoever it was, it didn't win the argument. That's who it was.
It did. Well, see what had happened. And since the last time we spoke, I think it was a good 48 hours after the fact. Your girl got caught. She
doing what?
Smoking a little devil's lettuce. Okay, got a little excited. Heard you talking about her. Went out, had some fun. Not really. Yeah, no. But got caught smoking the devil's lettuce. I wouldn't say even caught. I think she did obviously clearly did it intentionally.
Right.
And it's now suspended for 30 days, which brings us to a next point, which is there's a little loophole there. She's not necessarily banned from the Olympics.
It's okay.
Just 30 days.
So there's a fight. There's
a chance that she might possibly, incredibly magically, run in some kind of relay if the suspension falls off at that time. We're looking into it. It's a little fishy.
Yeah, I'm assuming. So she did get popped on a little bit of a test that the Olympic trials hold you to. The Olympic organization holds you to.
Yep.
A little marijuana.
A little marijuana.
But that being said, so my concern for her is she going to be able to say, okay, I got caught on this. Can she stay on the straight and narrow and stay off the radar for another test? Right.
I would believe so. I hope so.
I would hope so. Yeah, she's doing amazing.
The report that came out was she smoked because her mother just passed. She was trying to deal with it. I honestly don't care why you did it. I don't, like you and I talked precast. I don't really care that you are smoking.
I don't care.
I think we both discussed. I've never tried it. You don't do it, but you've tried it. You've dabbled.
Sure.
And we can both agree. You're not gaining any speed from this thing.
No,
I don't think it's an enhancement.
The one thing I would say, and this is why I'm also a little bit scratch my head about the NFL as well. Why are they so strict about it? Because it does not enhance your performance at all. There's other
things you need to worry about,
unless you're playing Madden. If you're playing Madden
sure
on whatever console you choose to have.
The only person that I would feel would have an advantage here would be Joey Chestnut.
Oh.
Because the munchies.
The munch.
Right? And he's the only person that I feel should be tested for it because now...
And was he? I don't believe so.
I don't think he was. Now, there's been an argument because I think everyone, and we're going to get into that too, is kind of on the same page of this is dumb. Why are we even talking about it? Why is she being banned? And here's my thing. I agree. but you know the rules. The rules state you can't do that.
You can't do it.
So as much as we want to like stand behind her and say this is dumb, you should. She knew the rules, and she even said, she goes, look, I stand by my decision, which I respect that. Fact of the matter is, there's rules in play. Whether we agree with the rules or not, that doesn't really matter. The rules are there currently, and that's what we have to follow. But
agreed, yep. Entirely. Look, because whether or not it's acceptable in the state that you live, some states here in the U.S. are much more lenient towards that kind of thing. Other countries are much more lenient towards that. So if you're going to have a governing body,
you work for a company.
You have a governing body that is trying to make everybody on a level playing field. We're talking about the Olympics here, just for the record. We're talking about events that they created when the Romans were around. And so do I think that it should be something that would prevent her from participating? No. I think that's silly.
It is.
But
the rules are there.
The rules are the rules. Yep.
So that leads us to the next little side segment.
Yeah.
Is how far we've come.
Since the Romans created the Olympics?
Well, yes, that one, but two, in this world we live in with the idea of pot. Not too long ago, well, a little bit now, back in 2009, give or take, our mascot, Phelps.
The American athlete.
The American golden boy.
Yes.
Hit a little tokey toke. Remember that?
Did he?
He hit a little tokey toke and got blasted for it.
All of his endorsements.
Blasted. Like the complete opposite of what's happening now.
Right.
I mean, everyone is like, this is ridiculous. But I remember when he came out, it was like, you're supposed to be a role model. You represent this and that and blah, 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 blah. Wiped him off the Wheaties box.
Yeah. No
Unreal.
Wheaties, no Subway.
Dunzo.
Like find every American franchise that was throwing this guy money. You're out of here. You're out of here.
And now she gets 30 days. Which I'm not complaining. I'm glad that we've come that far. I think it's awesome.
I like it. I like it. But just again, to your point, in just a very, very short amount of time, we're talking less than 10 years. Yeah. Phelps was
09.
09. Yeah.
09.
So
just 10 years.
I like the progressive nature of how we think about this thing. Like, look, Reefer Madness is gone. Okay.
Yes.
We're not in the 1950s.
It's not the Devil S anymore.
Right. Exactly. But
it's unfortunate that there's still this rule in place. Mm-hmm. I mean, she could have went and got, completely drunk and slaughtered. No problemo, which I feel has a more negative impact.
Which it does.
Right.
For sure.
But that's, we're getting too deep into it, but it's frustrating. But again, rules are rules.
She's still an athlete.
You got to follow the rules.
Yeah,
got to follow the rules.
Got to follow the rules. You still represent the United States of America. And
follow the rules.
We hold you to a higher standard than that.
Follow the rules.
Yep, that's it.
So that was kind of like our B.D.E clip for the week.
That was it.
But we're going to start a new segment this week.
We might go backwards.
We were huge on the B.D.E, right? The 9 inches. Right. Maybe this might be the new 9 inches.
Make apparently. A trail as you walk. Just because
the third leg type of thing.
It's absolutely.
But counter to B.D.E, sometimes there's L.D.E.
L.D.E.
Right?
Like, awkward for us. The B.D.E people who are here trying to do this every single day. And this is a mindset. This is
carries
what we're
a
doing.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Yes. And then you see something like this.
Should have hit it.
He wants to.
Here we go.
Fighting back into this ball game, and Lee Palmer excited about the job that his team puts forward.
Okay. Quick backstory. This is Steve Ballmer. The owner of the Clippers. I wanted to bring this up because I felt we felt like Sha'Carri Richardson got a lot more flack for her situation and a lot more accountability, right, for her situation over this situation here,
right,
where Mr.
Ballmer.
Thank you for that.
Am I saying it right?
Sounds right.
Are you sure saying Ballmer? Is it French? Is it Spanish?
Ballmer.
Ballmer.
groped, I think is their
That's a good way.
word.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
These two gentlemen next to him. Now, I get celebrating, and sometimes you hit a kind of a quick moment, right? Yeah. You get excited, you do things, you hit certain areas on accident. If you rewind this back and look, it was a sniper shot.
Right.
This wasn't a pass by, drive by accident.
As guys, we've all been to the point where we've given it that accidental brush.
Hey, my bad,
my B, and then you move on.
There wasn't a my B there. No. I didn't see him go, my fault. That was we're going all in on it. He was reaching for the B, the L, all the D.
The things to the left, to the right. And not only that, but it wasn't even like it was like one side. Let go of that man.
He kept going back for more. Like he wanted to. Look, the reason why we
L.D.E.
Yeah, we wanted to bring this up because this frustrated me that it didn't get enough. He didn't get enough crap for this. I think he did get some flack, but not enough. Sha'Carri Richardson is getting a lot more flack and crap, and again, she's got the support too. But this is you're an owner of an NBA team, acting like a complete fool. And what are we doing?
And what in the hell are you thinking?
What are we doing?
When there's not a camera in front of you, when there's not, the
30,000 screaming fans. Or, like, where's the line here? I don't know. I don't want to give this guy any more time.
No, he's done. He's done.
We wanted to roast somebody for L.D.E. Day. Let's move on to some bigger and brighter things.
Let's talk about it.
Listen, it's the greatest day of the year. Well, besides 4th of July, this is the second greatest day.
I mean, considering what you're wearing right now. Yes,
the second greatest day of the year, which is July 1st. Holly, you've been around a lot longer than me. You probably watched this guy play baseball. I, however, did not. Is that a fair statement?
That's fair.
Fair. Bobby Bonilla.
Bonilla.
Bonilla? See?
Bonilla.
I can't even say his name correctly.
See, I couldn't come up with Balmer.
But Bonilla.
Am I saying it right?
Are the L's Bonilla?
Bonilla. It's
Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla Day.
Look, he was one of the biggest free agents on the market, and every team in Major League Baseball was after this guy. He was young. His stats were through the roof.
The man.
He was the man.
And baseball guys, when they are the man, they get paid.
They get paid. And not only do they get paid, this guy got paid.
And it's still
getting paid.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact, every 1st of July 1 of every year, this man receives $1 million.
1.2.
Is it one? Oh, well, it with inflation, Dippin' Dots.
yes, including a negotiated 8% interest.
$1.2 million with Dippin' Dots. I'm sure that's probably an article in the contract because the inflation on those is going through the roof.
Insane.
Yeah, but
for how long, Holly? Do you know?
I want to say 2031.
For 25 years since 2011.
Don't make me do math. You said there'd be no math.
1.2 million with 8% interest. This guy encompasses B.D.E. lifestyle at its finest.
Look, especially because he hasn't played for the Mets like 5 years, 6, 8 years.
Probably longer than that. Let me see if I can find it here.
Honestly, I remember Bobby Bonilla being
2035. He'll be paid through
2035. Okay, I remember Bonilla playing for the Pirates. He was this young, scrawny kid out there just ball hawking in left field. I remember him bulking up, kind of doing the Sammy Sosa.
He last played in the major leagues for the Cardinals in 2001. He will be 72 when he receives. He will be 72 when he receives his last paycheck.
You just deleted my smartwatch. It just went backwards so hard.
Oh my goodness! I don't even think the iPhone was around, right? 2003 was the iPhone, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
If so, he had one.
With his paycheck, with this contract he just signed.
Look, and the funny part is, it was one of the most ridiculous contracts that I've ever seen. And look, I'm a professional sports guy. There's certainly been some, especially in the NFL. I want to say Terrell Owens' contract was pretty out there. Richard Sherman, when he left Seattle, the Seahawks, he negotiated his own contract to go to San Francisco that was based on performance.
Okay.
And everybody said he was crazy because
Gambled on himself.
He
Bet
had
on
just come
himself.
off of he's
ACL,
older, yeah.
right?
And then they won. They went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He had an amazing year, and he was
paid.
exactly right. I know what I'm doing. But I've never seen anything
Like this.
It's
great.
Well, to the point where the guy hasn't. You said the last year he played was
2001.
I mean,
listen, they talk about it every year. I'm excited that I finally get to talk about it. I've grown up watching, hearing about Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah.
Or Bonilla, as I like to call him. We're on a nickname basis, and so it's pretty cool to get to talk about it every day, every time it comes around. It's just this moment, right? We got July 4th, we got Joey Chestnut, it's Bobby Bonilla Day, and the L's are getting me excited.
Yeah, they're throwing you off.
Yeah,
they're throwing you off.
So we had to throw it in there.
I do like that. And to your point, Joey Chestnut, no contract at all. The man just loves hot dogs.
Just loves hot dogs.
And America.
Those are the best two things you could love. So moving on, we've got today, I believe, Game 4, NHA Finals.
Looks that way.
Bolts and 4, baby.
I'm
4.
all about it.
But we're not here to talk about today's game.
No.
We're here to talk about a little loophole.
Almost like the Bobby Bonilla contract.
Exactly.
that we just came off of.
Exactly. Right? Where it's paying dividends. And the little thing I like to call karma is coming around
It
the
all
corner.
comes full circle, right?
It all comes full circle.
Yeah.
So there's this loophole in the NHL that if you have a guy on the injured reserve, right? He's on a contract on your salary cap. But if you're on the injured reserve,
Hockey players get injured?
it's very rare.
According to
a
guy that we know,
They don't get hurt.
they don't ever get hurt.
Well, the injury that started this was Patrick Kane. He broke his collarbone.
Is it Kane? Kanye?
Kane. No, just Kane.
Kane?
Kane. So that's a pretty serious
There's
injury.
no L's in there, so.
I'm good. In 2015, the Chicago Blackhawks took advantage of this loophole. So look, Patrick Kane got hurt.
Okay.
They went and signed some people, right? Because now Patrick Kane is not being counted towards the payroll during the regular season because he's on injury reserved. They've got room to work with. They signed some great players. Don't quite know the names. It may matter, but I don't know what it is. So at this moment, it doesn't matter. Come playoff time, there is a rule that there is no salary cap in the playoffs.
Once you're in,
Doesn't matter.
Katie bar the door.
Crazy, something happens. Patrick Kane magically heals. I don't know if he magically. I mean, he got better. He gets better. They're stacked. They go on to the NHL Finals against none other. The Bolts.
Would it be the Bolts?
It was the Bolts.
Oh my goodness.
Blackhawks won.
Oh.
Shocker.
With Kanye?
With no Kane.
Kane. Okay, sorry.
With their stacked non-salary cap team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bolts came out afterwards and said, hey, I feel like we should, look into this loophole thing. I'm not really feeling this thing. We should figure this thing out.
It was never an issue before.
But we just lost
But we just lost.
So let's look into it.
Let's check into it.
Nobody else cared. Nobody else even batted an eye at it. No other NHL team stood behind them.
Not surprising.
Nobody said anything.
Not surprising because you know what? Nobody cared for as long as that rule's been around.
That's a great point.
Right.
Well,
now they care.
Well, fast forward. Yeah.
My watch is working again after you broke it with
6 years later. The Bolts are in the finale for the second time in a row.
They are.
Back to back.
They are.
Okay. Bolts and 4. And they have now taken advantage of this said loophole. And now people are starting to raise their eyebrow and say, what is up with this loophole?
Look, I'm going Bolts and 4. Don't get me wrong.
Bolts and 4. I love it. Look, they said it. You guys didn't want to act on it.
But right, they brought it up. They said, "Hey, we think this might be an issue. We think there's a little bit of gamemanship,
and we should look into.
And we should look into it."
Nobody did. Nobody cared. And they said they basically said, "Hold my beer."
And then now here we are.
I think they're like $7 or $10 million over salary cap.
At least
in the playoffs.
At least, yeah. Which they're going to have to, of course, hemorrhage.
They'll fix it, but it does.
That doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Because I want to say
you're gonna bring.
Yeah.
What are they gonna win?
Yeah, the thing. Yeah,
the greatest trophy. Yeah,
right.
It's weird.
We already had a guy. I'll give you that.
Did I just go up 3-0? Just kidding.
No, hell no. You don't get to go. You don't get to count it twice.
I don't get
you
two
don't
dubs?
get to count it twice.
All right. I was excited. My bad.
But no, you're right. But look. They at the end of the day, the rules there. Here's how it works.
I love this.
And they said, "Hey, that I don't like the way this is set up. We were on the wrong end of the way the rules work." And then here we are 6 years later, and nobody backed them up. So they said, "You know what we're going to do? Exactly the thing
you did to us."
that caught.
And you could tell, like they're up already 3-0. They've dominated the entire time.
And they've dominated.
They've dominated they went to Game 7 with the Islanders. I felt like they still dominated that team.
It felt that way, right? I mean,
even though I went to Game 7, I felt like they just, again, they went to Game 7, so it's hard for me to say, hey, they dominated. But they've dominated the entire time. They've ran through the NHL playoffs for the most part.
But they've done this before. They've done this where they go in and they're dominant all season. I want to say they were the first best record in the history of the NHL, and then they didn't make it past the first round.
Yeah, they lost the 1-6 first round. So they've had that. They've had that too. But I love this. I'm interested to see if now, because it's kind of being brought up again, and if more teams will take advantage of it.
I can tell you who won't put their hand up this time, and that's going to be
the Bolts.
The Bolts.
Yeah, the Montreal Canadiens might.
They may win have a conversation. They might be a little
upset about it. But again, we'll see if they let it be. I mean, if everyone does it, it doesn't really matter. Again, it's there for everyone to play in. I think it's just how do you take advantage of it.
Going back to our original topic when we started, the rules are the rules. As long as you operate within them, it doesn't matter what you do.
That was a great tie back.
It really is. Like Phelps can sleep in a hyperbaric chamber.
Within the rules,
right? Antonio Brown can basically freeze his feet off, trying to be
just get back to normal.
It's in the rules, but you can do it.
I love that. That was a really good tie back.
Nice. Appreciate that. So 2-2.
Hell no.
Hell yeah.
0-2. Get the hell out.
0-2. She's still on the team.
So I wasn't gonna make this argument for you, and I thought you could bring it up, but you could almost bring the argument up.
Go on.
So we might have to call this a split Z because I'm giving you the answer here.
I'm not giving you the
because of what's happening, because of what happened to her and the rally behind the situation. She's almost becoming a mascot, and she's not even gonna race. Like people are gonna be racing in her honor, which is gonna create this big notion that she is the face, right, of the Olympic team this year because of what happened. Because everyone feels sorry for her. And now I might just giving you a point. I'm really upset about it. But if she doesn't race at all, you don't get a point. Okay, Holly? It's like a long drive contest.
I agree.
If you hit it 400 yards that way, but it's in the rough, it doesn't count. I don't care how far you hit it.
I will take my point back.
If she doesn't race.
All
right.
But for right now.
So we're still in limbo. So it's still 1-0. No. It's 1-0. No.
It is 1-1.
No, you didn't win the argument the first time. So it's 1-0.
I gave you the Stanley Cup.
I gave you
the Stanley Cup.
I won.
And
you didn't give me anything. I earned that. I earned
Richardson.
I earned that 1-0. This leads us into the next big topic, which I am beyond excited for.
This is your thing.
This is
you love this.
This is the bread and butter. You know, this is we've even discussed talking about kind of having our podcast focus around these events because they're exciting. They're getting more and more popular with every day.
Yep.
It's UFC 264. What sucks is I went to UFC 261 when it was here in Jacksonville. We didn't have the cast started, but it's arguably being considered one of the greatest UFC events of all time.
261?
261 when it was here in Jacksonville.
Really?
Because it was the first one back since COVID.
Right.
I mean, it was a 3-title fight. They had 3 title fights on there, and every fight was insane. A guy broke his leg. Like, it was from start to finish was absolutely insane. But the guy that got me involved, that got me hooked into this sporting event is fighting this weekend in 264. So, tell you a little story time.
Let's go.
McGregor, okay, his energy, his B.D.E lifestyle is what got me into this. So, I've been watching him since he has started. And this goes back. I mean, shoot. I didn't have a house. I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. We couldn't even afford to pay. How we would watch is Kayla and I would go, because the fights were like midnight. It's the last fight. We would drive to Buffalo Wild Wings and sit in our car, because, I mean, it's cold outside, whatever, and sit in our car and watch it through the windows of Buffalo. That would be one time. Another time we would get to Buffalo at 6 p.m. and sit there for 6 hours and just buy dinner, right? And just literally sit there for 6 hours.
Waters
to watch Conor McGregor. So that's how far it's come. I've been watching this guy for a good, I would say 7 years now. No, maybe 5 or 6 years.
Now we're sitting on 84-inch.
Now we're sitting on 84-inch TV. We made it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
McGregor's balling. We're balling. We're having a good time. But he fights this weekend against Dustin Poirier.
I'm glad to see him.
I'm
ready for it.
For the trilogy. For the third fight. You're going to be here.
I'm going to be here.
We're going to be excited.
We are watching what is the equivalent of for you young kids, the Thriller in Manila. We are going Ali,
yes,
and Frazier.
Okay,
the third time coming back, baby. Like Frazier knocked out Ali knocked out Frazier, and they had that 1/3 fight. And my goodness, it just was the biggest thing. And we're talking about, the 60s, and that was a huge fight. And I think that's kind of where we're at with this.
I don't want to disrespect that era, because that's a whole nother level. But I get what you're saying, and I agree. Like what you said, like that. This is our
right.
This is our
just
this is
bringing
our guy.
It back for the third fight. Like,
this is our guy. Yeah. Because he won the first one, and it was during like his rise, and then he just lost literally 6 months ago to Poirier. And it's kind of Poirier's on like this like weird rise, right? Where he's kind of been in limbo for the last few years, and he's starting to make a staple of himself. And McGregor's on the way out. So this is a big fight for McGregor in regards to, hey, is this gonna be you win this and then you go fight for the title, or what's next?
That's the thing.
Where do we go? If you lose, he's probably done.
And that was going to be my question. What is the even the long term for McGregor? Does he want to keep fighting? I mean, he's got to start. He's starting to start looking at the twilight of his career. But he wins this fight. He's got to go.
Yeah, he's got to fight Oliveira for the title. Right. He has to. I would think. Why would you spend all this time to come back just to beat Poirier? Like, it's not even a title fight. It's literally just a grudge fight. Yeah. I mean, it's still exciting, but it's.
I'm anxious because look, for McGregor, he knows that he's getting to the latter end of his career.
Sure.
Right. So if he doesn't win this fight,
it's done.
What do you do? What's the point?
Yeah. There's no one left for you to fight. Really, You've beaten everybody that you could beat, and this Poirier is kind of like the last. Either you beat him and you go win the title one more time, and then you finish on top, or he's just gonna. If he does lose, he still had a phenomenal career. I mean, he's still the GOAT.
And he really has.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hold your head down. But last time he lost was against Diaz. He came back with a vengeance.
Diaz is a weird fighter, though.
Dude, he's a human punching bag, bro. The guy doesn't lose, bro. He doesn't.
But he's as thin as a rail.
He's incredible to watch.
6'5",
he's so fun to watch.
He looks like a nail. Like he's just a tiny little guy.
Speaking of pot, bro, he was smoking at the conference last. He was the last main event. He was smoking at the conference, pre-conference and post-conference. But I got my girl Shakira Richards being suspended for 30 days. I digress.
But just to touch on that, the one thing I can say, and we hit it on a little bit earlier. Look, somebody who's smoking weed, that doesn't make you fast. That makes you not want to move.
Yeah, clearly, I mean, just Nate Diaz can't get a sentence out.
Yeah, I don't know. And then here we have Nate over here doing his thing as well.
He's a scrapper. So again, we're gonna have some reaction videos. We're gonna record this thing.
It's gonna be great.
I go absolutely apeshit.
Anybody who has not seen a fight video with Shelton and his reactions, that you're missing something in your life, because my goodness, that by itself, more often than not, is more entertaining than the fight.
You get so invested into it. What's crazy is, again, huge McGregor fan. He was heavily favored last time. Mm-hmm. Heavily. And I looked at the odds, and I was going to put 50 on McGregor, and then I looked at the odds, and I was like, 50 pays, it was like 25 or something like that. But if you put 50 on Poirier, you won 250. I was like,
Well, look,
in this sport.
Yeah, look. Anytime you're gambling, you can always have a vested interest and a personal interest,
or a money interest.
Right, that's what I mean. Vested.
Yes. Okay, so it was 50 for 250, and I was like, "This is a crazy sport. We're not talking football where the best team wins 90% of the time. Right. You could get hit the wrong way.
Yeah, one haymaker, you're done.
I was like, Poirier's no slump. It's been like 4 years since they fought. So I was like, you know what?
He didn't fall backwards into this thing.
Yeah, like he earned this fight. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw 50 in Poirier. It's a win-win. My guy wins, and I'm ecstatic. I lose $50. It's what it is. Or I counter the heartbreak with 250 in the pocket. As we all know, look, it ended, and I had a moment of sadness, and I go, wait a minute. I just paid for this fight and then some.
This is a B.D.E situation. I'm looking at a win-win. I either walk away personally satisfied or financially satisfied.
It was a win-win.
I would strongly encourage everybody who's already been tuning in and watching a little bit of the B.D.E flow and just trying to get that energy going. I would strongly encourage everybody to jump on, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the alerts button, because we're putting stuff out. This isn't a 1 week thing. Like we're chopping it up.
Got small videos, yeah.
And
if you don't want to watch all the whole thing,
right? Exactly.
Just get little tidbits here and there.
Little tidbits, and then
a little bomber action.
Exactly.
Little weed action. Whatever you need, we got it. We're here for it. A little fight action.
We're certainly gonna have some reaction. Some video that we're gonna certainly put up there and get it out there.
It's gonna hopefully be extreme excitement.
Shelton by himself
will carry it. I'm going all in. I'm putting money on McGregor this time. I don't care about feelings. I'm going. It's either gonna be a full extreme high, pun intended, or an extreme low. Pun intended. We're gonna be excited. We got a lot of big things coming up.
I'm stoked.
Thanks again for stopping by,
everybody. You guys are awesome. Keep that B.D.E flowing.
My name's Shelton,
and I'm Hawley.
Boogity boogity. Woo. See ya.
Check the field, let it build. I won't break a sweat. Yeah. Never down for the count. What you wanna bet? Yeah. Try to take me